Extracurriculars. Do you need them to get into medical school? Yes. Should you do a million and one things just to fill in your application? Absolutely not. When you first start out in college or on your pre-med journey, the endless to-do list can seem so overwhelming. But just take a deep breath and know that everyone who is in medical school has been where you are. Instead of spending hours trying to decide what is best for you by asking what others have done and consulting the internet, the best place to start is just to rip off the band-aid and join something. Maybe an organization related to your major, or being pre-med that fits some specific interest that you have, or some community outreach, or just some sort of competition group. Find what you enjoy. If your undergraduate experience was anything like mine, you don't even have to hunt these groups down. I remember being constantly recruited and encouraged to join organizations at orientation and some of my classes, and while just walking around campus. It is hard enough to find time to do extra activities while balancing school and life. So find something that can be your happy place. Just remember, if you take the time to think it through, everything can be a checkbox on your medical school application. If you decide to play intramural dodgeball, make that your thing. That's fine. That can show that you have teamwork, dedication, and if you take the extra initiative, you can even call it leadership. It can even be helpful during your interviews to have something more fun and relatable to talk about. You should always have in the back of your mind while trying to shop around and find your collegiate niche are the core competencies that medical schools are looking for. This is the list that the AAMC has on their website, and the link to the original site is in the description of this video, that covers the key competencies that they expect to see in incoming medical students. What you should see is a list of personal qualities that you want to show that you have through your activities as a pre-med. Now, please do not use this list to make every decision in your pre-med life. But as you start to think about your medical school application, start thinking about what you're doing to show these skills and how you could show, not tell, admissions committees that you have these traits. At the same time, there are some time investments that will get you better returns. As I mentioned already, even playing dodgeball can be used to show a handful of these competencies, but it's probably a stretch to say that it shows that you're a resilient, critical thinker, and a good writer. This is why I think that research has become a really common thing for pre-meds to do. Because if you stick around for a year in a science or engineering research group, you can easily check off most of these things and get a professor who knows you well enough to write a really good recommendation letter. To share a little bit of my own personal experience, when I started in college, I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up. I just knew that I wanted to help people and that I enjoyed sciences, especially medical science. This left me still open to teaching, biomedical engineering, being a physician or a scientist, and so many more careers. So I did what any insane person would do, and I signed up for every opportunity that was presented to me. Literally. Within the first month of school, I was working in a research lab, I was an elected officer in a professional organization, I was part of the Honors College, and I was a member in at least half a dozen organizations. After the first year, though, I did start to cut things that I didn't enjoy so much so that I could focus more of my time on the things that I loved. For instance, I loved outreach and being able to help people who are earlier in their academic journeys learn the things that I learned the hard way or didn't have the opportunity to learn when I was their age, while in general just sharing my passions. Also, I found a lot of nerdy happiness in research. I was able to take some of the textbook facts that I was just memorizing in classes to pass a test and actually use that knowledge to see why knowing basic knowledge is useful. Over time, though, I did switch labs because I find clinically oriented research more my fit. Because I'm not a person to nerd out over learning new science for the sake of science, but in knowing that what I'm putting my efforts into could one day improve patient care. So to recap, do not do things just because some list or other pre-meds say that you should. You only have so many hours in a week. Do not waste your precious time doing something that makes you miserable. Find what you're passionate about, and you focus on this instead of checking some box on a list. You will find that telling your story is a lot easier. If you want to know more about extracurriculars in the medical school application, there are plenty of resources for you. The specific school that you want to attend, check out MSAR. It's a great service from the AAMC that pulls data straight from applications and from schools so that you can see what each program is looking for. For extracurriculars, you can check out their graph in their admission sections on pre-medical experiences of the first year class. For more general help, you can check out the PreMed Years podcast by Dr. Ryan Gray in the Medical School HQ. And then you also have the Princeton Review and the Savy Premed, which are great websites to get some more specific advice. More for really specific advice, as in like for your specific situation, always feel free to reach out to your school's pre-med or pre-health advisors. They are great resources provided at most universities. Lastly, if you have thick skin and the ability to tell when someone is giving you bad advice, you can look at the PreMed subreddit or the Student Doctor Network, SDN. If you choose to use Reddit or SDN, just remember that people can be harsher when they're anonymous, and most people who are going to be sharing their experiences online are going to be higher achievers and, again, anonymous, so they might be exaggerating or straight up lying. Negativity aside, if you want to get a general feel for advice, these platforms are filled with historic content, and chances are you're not the first person in your situation who wants to go to medical school. So, in summary, don't waste hours of your life doing things that make you miserable because you think that an admissions committee wants to see that. Find what makes you happy and think about how you can show from those activities that you have what it takes to be a physician. Thank you so much for checking out my video today. I'm going to be trying to upload more videos to help anybody that's on a pre-med journey or a pre-PhD journey. So if you have any specific questions that you would like to see more videos on, please let me know in the comments below and I will do my best. Thank you. Bye-bye.